I want to talk with you about a woman that was doing $4 million in her business, had all the funnels, all the strategies, absolutely everything, had an amazing team, great relationship with her kids, yet she was hiding her financial success from absolutely everyone for fear that she was going to be seen as a bad person. That was costing her millions. In this particular video, I'm going to be talking about why high achievers go through ceilings in their business and in their life, and what you're going to do to actually break through. Just so I'm absolutely clear, I've been in the coaching game for like 50 million thousand years. I'm a happy millionaire. I'm happily married. I'm super duper healthy. I love my life. I love helping people just like you. And what I'm showing you today in this particular video is data-backed, science-backed, and actually helps entrepreneurs just like you break through to the next level. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk with you about is something that you are probably butting your head up against all the blimmin' time. Probably killed 5 fairies with that. What I want you to know right now is that if you are wanting to shift and change and grow and excel and have a better business and a better life and have more experiences that are meaningful to you, then listen up. It is not a strategy problem. You probably know all the strategies. You are probably capable right now to 10x your company and your business with your current strategy. If you listen to this, it's not a strategy problem. It's an identity problem. We need to make sure that your identity is absolutely bulletproof with the identity of where you are going, not where you have come from, not your childhood wounds, not your subconscious where it goes, oh, I need to protect myself and not be seen. No, hold up for a second. You must have a bulletproof identity that allows you to be as awesome as you actually know you are and doesn't try to hold you back every single second of every single day. The strategy is not the problem. Your identity just needs to build capacity to hold the space for the growth in your life that you desire. So this is absolutely incredible. In fact, it is critical. Further in the video, I will speak to this a lot more, but what I want you to know right now is that your identity has to be in alignment with the success that you desire. Okay, so number 2, what I want to talk about right now is the guilt trap that many people, especially women, step into this particular trap. Now, I've stepped into it as well. It's not cool. It's not fun. And it is the guilt of success. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story right now because I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, when the big C happened around the world, where the big thing happened, remember how we were all locked down and all that sort of stuff? Long story short, at that particular moment, I remember looking at the media. I remember looking at the news and going, oh my gosh, this is terrible. This is horrible. I absolutely fell for it all, if I'm allowed to say it like that. And I looked out there and I was like, oh my gosh, like everything's happening and like I live an amazing life and I've got more than enough and I'm okay and I'm already a millionaire and everything is fine. And I remember looking around going, how dare I market myself when there is so much pain out there in the world? And I remember making an active decision to turn my volume down. And I didn't market my services. I didn't get out there. I didn't lead people as I could. I didn't. And in hindsight, it would have been the coolest thing. If I just got out there and done it, I could have helped so many more people. And I vowed and declared that I would never do it again. But that came from a childhood belief that you don't peacock, you don't put your head up, you don't appear to be better than anyone else. So it's not actually abnormal that people like you maybe, we don't necessarily want to tout our success and all that sort of stuff out there. But my golly gosh, when I realized what I was doing in hindsight, I went, oh my gosh, that was the guilt of success. So the point of this is that the guilt of success holds us back, keeps us small, and it's just programming and it's just wiring that we can shift and change. And often the opposite of what the belief is what we should be doing. So the belief I had was I'm a bad person if I go out there and market myself during the big C time in the world. Whereas the opposite of that is this is the prime time to lead. Now, because I've learned all those lessons, I'm here right now saying to you, let's go. Let's lead as much as possible. Let's be as successful as possible because your success means that you can help more people. Okay. So that's part of the reason why I'm literally at this time when there's oil shortages and there's inflation around the world. Now is the time more than ever to lead. I will never fall back into the guilt of success. And it's fundamentally important that you do that as well. Okay. Can I just say, maybe just massively lead more and louder and better right now? Now, number 3 is incredibly important for you to listen up to. Your environment is one thing that is so freaking important to your success. And maybe, just maybe, you want to make a couple of changes to your environment. Okay, let's imagine for a second that you're trying to build this level 10 life, which is, I don't know, maybe it's $1 million profit per year or $2 million profit per year, whatever it is, right? Let's just pretend that that is level 10 life and you're going on holidays and you're reinvesting for your future and all that sort of stuff. Right? That's a level 10 life. Take your mind out there right now to your level 10 life. Now, if you are surrounding yourself by level 5 inputs to get your level 10 life, what are you actually going to get? A level 5 life. If you are reading mindless BS, if you are scrolling mindlessly, if your physical environment is crap and it's smelly and it's odorous and it's gross, if your digital environment is full of just disarray and destruction, that's what you get more of into your life. Now, what you need to know right now is it is critical for your internal environment and your external environment to be in alignment with what you want, or else you're not going to get the change that you want. Okay. Now, this does not mean, oh my gosh, I need to live in a multi-million-dollar mansion in order to make a multi-million. That's not what I'm saying. I've made a crap ton of money living in absolute, what I would call shitbox housing. It has been horrible, right? Absolutely horrible housing to get to where I am right now. But what I did do is I did put my blinders on. And what I did do is I did close the curtains. And what I did do is I put my noise cancelling headphones on. And what I did do is make sure that I was programming myself for ultimate success and not looking at how poor I was in the process of creating the riches that I desired. What does this mean for you? Well, when I'm working with clients right now, I make sure that at the moment that they step into any version of stagnation, maybe they've been at home for too long, I get them to book holidays. I get them to get out of their environment. I get them to shake up and change their environment so that their subconscious mind is like, oh, no, we're leveling up again. Oh, here we go again. Because it's critically important. If you get into any version of stagnation, it's so important to shift that energy, to change, to up level, and to experience a higher level energy and a higher level environment so that your internal and your external environment program you for where you're going. By the way, just as a bit of a side note here, peace is absolutely underrated. I live an amazingly peaceful life, and I think that there are so many people out there that want so much adventure, and I love adventure, and they want so much of this, and they want so much up, and they want so much fun and all that sort of stuff. What I want you to know right now is that peace is one of the most incredible emotions that I get to experience on a daily basis. I have a peaceful marriage. I have a peaceful body. I have a peaceful environment, and it is so absolutely incredible to me. I really, really, really am so grateful for where I am. And it took courage to have conversations with people around me to make sure that the environment is conducive to where we as a family unit want to go, okay? So I want you to know that when I say change your environment, I really do mean like be courageous, get out there, have the conversations, put neon lights on in your office if you need to, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you're priming yourself for the success that you desire. It is critically important. What I am not saying is go out there and buy new big screens. What I am not saying is buy new things that you don't need. I'm an advocate for keeping things as simple as possible. I do not have any clutter in my environment. I do not have any clutter in my body, in my mind, in my internal environment here, in my external environment here. It is so important to me that I stay in alignment with where I'm going. So hopefully, this point number 3 has been made, and I'm going to move into point number 4. Okay, and number 4. Some of you aren't going to like this one. But if you want more results in life, and if you want more of what you want, you're probably going to want to listen up to this. Standard slippage is one of the reasons why people don't get the success that they want. You get your standards. And what you must have is a floor for your standards. So let's just say this, for example, you might go out there, you might be like, hey, I want to lose some weight. And you go out there, you want the results. Blah, blah, blah. Go back to 4. You've hit the level of success to good enough as comfortable. Standard slippage. Now, I heard someone not long ago say, you don't get your goals, you get your standards. That couldn't have been a better way to sum this up. And if 10xing your company, 10xing your life, and having 2 holidays per year and $100 gajillion in your retirement so that you can blah, 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 and giving back to charities, if these are the things that you want, they have to be your standards. That's it. They have to be your standards. They have to be your base level standards of expectations of how you operate, of how you vibe, of what you talk about. They are just your standards. And anything below those standards is unacceptable. Now, I'm not saying to you to hustle. I am not saying to overwork your nervous system. I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form. You can have a standard and not have to push yourself in an overly masculine way. If you're a female, of course, like sometimes a lot of us females have gone out there and we've pushed and we've hustled and we've been overly masculine and we've burnt ourselves out in pursuit of this goal. So I'm not saying to burn yourself out. What I am saying is standards are standards, right? It's undeniable, right? If I want to be the fittest I've ever been, the standard is the fittest I've ever been in X weight, X health, X, Y, and this is what it looks like to be the standard of what I expect. My standards of how I conduct myself in business, that's my standard. High integrity, honesty, all of like those values are my standards. So here's what I will say with regards to your goals. Your goals are your standards. Your revenue trajectory, those are standards that you must teach your team and your spouse and your kids. These are the standards. This is what the standard is. I remember coaching someone a little while ago, and they literally only had $5,000 to their name. And from the outside in, they looked successful. From my perspective, what I could see is that their financial zero was not high enough. So for me, I have certain 0 points in my business banking account, in my personal account, in my shares account, in my net worth. That is my base level minimum. It will never drop below these as the base level minimum. Okay. So these are my standards. I have standards of how much money I must have as my base level minimum. I also have base level minimums in terms of my revenue, and those are my standards, below which is unacceptable. When I hear that people around my age have significantly humongous debt and lack of financial net worth, I am so grateful, and I'll be very honest with you, I'm so grateful for the past version of me that set high standards for my fiduciary responsibility. Okay, so that's a standard. Okay, so in terms of your goal, in terms of your revenue, in terms of like your how many holidays you want, these are standards that you get to set, and they are non-negotiable standards. And part of the reason why we don't get our goals as humans is that we have standard slippage, and we go back to comfort. We go back to good enough, especially those of us who have more than we need in order to survive. We've gone out of survival and we can certainly massively thrive, but we don't set a thriving standard. We just kind of like in the jiving, like, this is good enough standard. So part of the reason why people get to comfort and don't go beyond comfort is they haven't set a standard beyond comfort, right? And it could be, hey, I want to change the world. I want to impact so many charities and all that, but they haven't set those things as the new standard. So each time you reach a new goal, what you get to choose is the next standard. And in doing this, you are continually growing as a person. But what I'm not saying is you always have to move the needle. You always have to move the goalpost. Maybe the new standard is to have a year off and completely and utterly sensory deprive yourself so you can be more in union with your higher self for an entire year. That's a standard too. Now, it might be a weird standard to say to high-performing people such as yourself, but that's a standard too. And you get to choose the standards that you have. It's really and truly your life. You get to choose. But standard slippage is part of the reason why people don't reach their goals. And what you can do to counter this is to set the standard, communicate your standard with your team, your spouse, yourself. Have your standards up on your wall. Make sure that you are around your standard. Okay, so hold up for a second. Have you ever gone out there and be like, I want that goal. That's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. You sit down and you work it all out and you go into your office and then you go for it. You go for it. You go for it. And then all of a sudden, you have an argument with your spouse. And then all of a sudden, your team aren't supporting you. Then all of a sudden, nobody is on your side. And you're out there and you're pivoting and you're doing your thing and you're like, And then you get to the point of resentment and you're like, why are people not supporting me? It's because you forgot to let them know. The communication void is one of the main reasons why spouses end up having spats and goals don't be getting got. Okay. Now, I know that was horrible English. I really want you to get this. This is humongous. This is massive. One of the number one reasons why entrepreneurial spouses really don't get their goals and they live groundhog year upon groundhog year is that someone decided to get a goal and didn't tell their spouse that they wanted to get the goal. And they didn't tell their spouse what support they needed in order for them to get the goal. This is one of the number one reasons why angst happens, resent happens, divorce happens even, because there was a lack of communication around what they wanted, what was important to them. Now, if you want to get out there and change the world, to make more income, to make more revenue, to change the world in the way that you are able to change the world, then the chances of you doing that alone are very slim to none. Radical transparency is what a lot of couples literally need, but they just don't have it. You're an adult, right? I'm an adult, you're an adult. And a lot of the time, we just need to kind of be adults. We need to be like, hey, this is what success looks like for me. Define what success looks like for your spouse, your significant other, your kids, so that they understand who you're becoming, the journey that you're on, and what support you may need in order to get there. So for me, I don't clean my house. For me, I don't make meals. For me, I don't do my own laundry. Why? Not because I'm lazy, just because it doesn't make sense for me to spend my time and my energy and my focus in those areas. It's too costly to do that. I have support in those key areas to make sure that I get to spend time with you. Now, I've got big goals. I'm sure you do as well. I need support to get there, right? And I used to arrogantly think I'm self-made. That's absolute BS. I am not self-made. My dad has helped me get here. My mom has helped me get here. My spouse has helped me get here. Like my kids have helped me get there. I have literally had support from so many people, some of whom I don't even know. Mark Zuckerberg has even helped me get where I'm going. My first $1 million online came from me running Facebook ads to a webinar funnel, me performing that webinar funnel every single week and serving the world in an amazing way with Facebook advertising. So Mark Zuckerberg has assisted me in getting where I'm going. I'm not self-made. You're not self-made. But here's the thing, is that when we think we are transforming and we're in a vacuum and we're transforming in private and all this sort of stuff, that is an egoic look at how we're actually growing and becoming. Let your spouse support you. Tell your spouse what you want. Tell your spouse the dreams that you have. Ask for support along the way. It's one of the fundamental things that you can gift your spouse is your vulnerability, and for you to ask them for support. Now, they might not want to. Let's be very honest. They might go, actually, no, I don't want to cook for you. I don't want to clean for you. That's not who I am. I want to go take over the world and change the world in my own way. And that's cool. That's amazing. But at least they'll be able to support you in the emotional thing like, hey, I see where you're going. Hey, I see what you're doing. This is amazing. And you'll be able to have support conversations like, hey, how are you going with changing the world? Great. I'm changing the world in my way. How are you going? Great. I'm changing the world in my way. My point here is the communication void is where goals go to die in spousal relationships. So many entrepreneurs end up divorced because they feel like they are the big high achiever and their spouse is doing nothing, right? And they literally see it like this. It's not like this. If you never let your spouse into your world, that's on you, right? If you never humbled yourself enough to say, hey, sweetie, hey, schnookums, I would love to ask for your help. That's on you. And you have the ability as a beautiful, high-achieving entrepreneur to communicate with your significant other and ask for the support that you need. You do have the ability to do this. Behind the scenes here, I have literally just asked my wife to make me food. Why? Because she loves making food and I don't love making food. And I'm in here doing this video for you. This is exactly what I mean. Also, when she was coming home about an hour and a half ago, I said to her, "Hey, would you be able to be quiet when you come in because I'm filming?" This is exactly what communication in an entrepreneurial, high achieving environment looks like. It says, "Can you please? Would it be okay if you?" And then I am literally supported in the most beautiful, amazing ways by my spouse because I know how to communicate the simple things. Okay, so I'm going to finish up this video right now by saying, you don't have a drive problem. You don't have a drive problem at all. But if you want to 10x, if you want to get out there and have this most incredible, amazing life, you do have to have an internal environment that supports that and an external environment that supports that as well. Be honest with your spouse. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your team. You deserve to go out there and change the world. You can make a crap ton more money if you just listen to the 5 things that I've mentioned in this particular video. I love you. You're incredible. You're amazing. If you found this valuable in any way, shape, or form, like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.